What's up everybody, Jay here and welcome back to the Planted Tank. And today we're going to do an update and maintenance video on my WaterBox Cube 10 all-in-one aquarium on my desk. It's been a little bit neglected because I've been working a lot of overtime recently to save up for one of my other hobbies. And anyways, let's hop straight into it. So as you can probably tell, there is algae all over the place. There is brown hair algae, pretty much just growing all over the place. And we're going to take care of that. You can definitely tell that this tank has been neglected. I don't think I've done a water change in probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. Pretty much since the last time I posted a video on this tank, but I'm getting some really good plant growth out of these stem plants. And we're gonna go ahead and start by wiping down the glass and getting that all cleaned up. I like to use these little yellow and green sided sponges. I get these from the Dollar Tree. These ones are aquarium safe and don't have any chemicals mixed inside of it. So we're gonna go ahead and clean the glass up. Now I'm gonna get in there with my little organic toothbrush and clean up the rocks. Definitely a lot of detritus in here though. That's probably the main cause of the algae. Since I haven't been able to do water changes on this as frequently as usual, it's just gonna build up and feed the algae all day long when the light is on. If you're noticing a lot of detritus building up in your substrate, you can kind of take your finger and wave it, like kind of mix the top section around a little bit and get some of that detritus floating up into the water column, so that way when you do your water change you can suck most of that out. Now I'm going to go ahead and start trimming up some of these plants. I will be replanting most of them. Now the way I trim my stem plants, I try to keep the overall shape of the tank the same, but just kind of bring it down to a shorter level. Now I'm gonna collect all these stems that I just trimmed and take them to the sink and try to rinse off as much of that algae as possible. That way when I replant them, they don't suffer as much going through the new rooting process. I'm gonna give this pearl weed a little bit of a trim also. Okay, so I have these plants all cleaned off now, and I'm gonna go ahead and start replanting them. This plant here is called Ludwigia Arcuata. I'm gonna move to the Didiplid Diandra. This is probably one of the easiest stem plants I've ever grown. And it doesn't grow too fast. Now I'm gonna move on to the Ludwigia Natans Super Red. Really a big fan of this plant. It's super easy to grow. You can grow this with CO2 or without CO2, And it's gonna keep this really nice red color on it too. So now that the replanting is done, I'm gonna go ahead and re-wave my hand over pretty much everything in the tank to try and lift up as much of that detritus as possible to help avoid algae issues in the future. As you can see, there's quite a bit of detritus laying around in here. That's probably the main cause of the hair algae problem that suddenly came out of nowhere, which is usually what happens with a planted tank. It'll be going fine for a while, and then out of nowhere you'll just get slammed with algae. But doing your weekly water changes and staying on top of things is the best way to avoid that. You just want to keep things as consistent as possible. Now that we have everything floating around in there, we're going to hurry up and suck as much of that out as possible before it hits the ground again. Always remember to try to keep some kind of spray bottle or something on hand to keep your plants from drying out. And we're gonna go ahead and try and fill this tank back up as quickly as possible because my fish are in there freaking out. This thing here is awesome. Go get one if you don't have one already. It keeps the water from like splashing around all over the place in there, and aerates the water really well when you're pouring it in. So highly recommend the hashtag George Farmer Red Colander. Okay, so now that I have the tank filled back up, I'm gonna try to straighten out some of these stem plants that got kind of smushed over in the whole process. And this is pretty much all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it or learned something from it. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug my pump back in and my heater, and we should be good to go. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. This is pretty much all I got for today. And if you guys learned anything or liked this video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. And subscribe if you're new here. I'd really appreciate that. We're coming up on 10,000. Rumor has it only 3% of YouTubers hit 10,000 subscribers. So that is my goal for this year. And if you'd like to subscribe and help me out, that'd be awesome. I appreciate all the love from you guys all the time. So as always, keep it planted.